feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. But it's sink or swim, only option is to win. In the murky water, not a thought of giving in. Welcome to the shrimp tank. Want to put it all together, this is big thanks. Doing big things, we ain't in the same league. Running a campaign, Roadie 2016. Like a phone to die, putting me in charge. I'm a general, from the front I'ma lead the charge. Like a federal, fell on my lap never. Going hard as ever.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode here on the Shrimp Tank Podcast, powered by Celsius Beverage. Of course, if you want to tune into all these amazing episodes live, we do it from the College of Business at FAU, 1 o'clock every single Wednesday. And you catch all these amazing episodes up on our website, shrimptankpodcast.com. This is the podcast where street smarts and book smarts collide, and the only podcast in the world that I am aware of that has an entire class of Florida Atlantic University students sitting in, and as part of their curriculum, they attend this show and learn from successful entrepreneurs, right? So every week I'm joined by the one and only Kevin Cox. He's the director here, and I'm excited for all the things he's got in store for FU Tech Runway in the couple coming months, of course. What's up, Kevin?
Oh, yeah, there's always exciting things going on. I just got back from Georgia Tech that has a fantastic accelerator program that we kind of aspire to be as part of Venture Wells program. And then next week, there's the Southern Management Association. That's more of a research conference. We have the boot camp ongoing. Veterans program is ongoing right now. And, you know, the runway is always going. But with that, let's get into the show. We have a fantastic guest today, Jody Chapnick. And Jody, one of the things we make all our guests do, and we try to teach our students to do as well, is give a great elevator pitch. 60 seconds. You've got a fantastic background in real estate and finance. Give them your elevator pitch.
I really spend my day every day trying to find great opportunities, find companies that Warren Buffett would find on a smaller scale. So if you guys happen to bump into any companies, you'd make my life easier and we can make some money together. So that's what I'm looking for.
You're looking for Kevin. Kevin bumps into companies every single day.
Yeah, I suppose that's
His inbox
true.
is full.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of those companies don't exactly make revenue. They're more ideas, though, to be fair.
Yeah. We always have some that are striving and then making inroads, making success, making revenue. But good. Well, we'll learn more about you on the way. I'd say that elevator pitch was a little average, right? And we still don't know that too much about what he does besides look for companies, but we'll get there. During this first segment of the show, we're always joined by one of our students. So, Tyler, you want to give your elevator pitch to the audience?
I wasn't prepared for an elevator pitch, but I'm Tyler Morris. I'm a communications major and a marketing minor. I am doing a marketing internship, so I'm just pretty much engulfing myself in the marketing experience. So, yeah.
Fantastic. That was at least as good as Jody's.
It was.
Yeah.
It was spot on. I think he did a great job. So let's bring down our host of our game show. We don't know what type of show we're going to be running today. I am excited to hear about it.
Hi, my name is Emilio. The game today is Brand or Bluff. So basically how to play is I will read out a brand name and you must guess whether it's a real brand or made up bluff.
Ooh, I like this.
So the point system goes, you'll earn 3 points for identifying the real brand. So if it's a brand or a bluff. And then if you guessed correctly, you can earn bonus points one of two ways. So 1 point if you guess what the company does or the industry it operates in. And then 2 points if you can name like a fun fact about them, like a specific product, a service, or a fact about the company. So we have like a even amount of questions. So each contestant will be able to get their own chance. And then if they guess the brand, and then if they don't answer the bonus points correctly, another contestant could steal one of those points.
Family Feud.
Okay, I like
this.
it.
This is getting complex over here, but I'm in.
Is somebody keeping
in.
score? Because
Yeah.
this sounds okay. All right, we've got a pro back there. Okay, so you want to just go down the line in order then?
Yeah,
oh,
we'll
you're
do that.
up, Jason. Let's see what you got.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got Squatty Potty,
Real.
correct? And then you get the chance to...
Squatty potty. The only thing I'm thinking about is like the footstool where you put your feet up and you go to the restroom, or it's completely not that brand.
Yes, it's that.
It is that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And fact, I think it helps people go to the restroom easier because your feet are in a higher position. I think that's what they had a lot of videos.
This
about.
game's
Yeah,
fixed. He has 3 of these at his house. All right.
So that's
I got kids, Kevin. They got the step stools. It's the same thing.
so that's 6 points.
Wow.
Aced it. Look at that.
All right.
That's why they say this is
Jody,
the show
you're up.
Street Smarts and Book Smarts collide, Kev.
So the next one is grain and grind.
Brand.
False.
I think there's a close one. There's
Yeah.
grain and something.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Because
that's
there's
a
one in
good
Boca.
brand name. It was a good guess.
All right, so we'll move to
Oh,
Kevin.
sorry, Jody. You can't participate.
Meowtel.
Oh no, I don't know. Sounds stupid. It has to do with pets. Brand?
Correct.
Nailed it. Is it stupid and does it have to do with pets?
Yes, that's the industry.
Nailed it. All right,
And
I'm on
then-
fire.
If you want, you could go for like a unique feature.
Yeah, you have to take a stab at the feature. What
It's
makes
a
them unique?
real
You gotta get the 6
fancy
points.
little house type of plaything for cats.
Wrong.
Wrong.
All right.
It's basically like a cat sitting marketplace where they get like a where there's insured sitters for your cat.
Okay. Okay. I
Well-
gave it a shot. I got a couple of them. Tyler, you're up.
So the next one is called Thinks.
Thinks.
Yeah.
Bluff.
It's a brand. It's basically it's apparel. So basically washable. Basically it's like they have leak proof and washable underwear.
And it's
Okay.
called Thinks.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's not a good brand name.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is Loop Nest.
Ooh.
Brand.
False.
I heard the word nest in there. I went for it.
All right. And the next one is Drunk Elephant.
Oh, Jody,
That's
I'm
a-
interested. in
That's
this one.
bluff.
No.
No.
I was gonna say that
No,
was a
it's,
brand. Yeah.
It's a skincare brand.
Wow.
Basically, they sell like skincare free of essential oils, alcohols, or fragrances.
All right.
0 for 2.
Oh, for 2. I thought that was gonna be like something that
No
helped
wonder you
with your
can't find any
hangovers.
companies.
That's a good one.
All right. The next one is Snag Tights.
Fake. Oh man. All right.
All right.
What's snag tights?
Yeah.
Basically, Snag Tights is a body positive campaigns on Instagram that has inclusive sizing and comfort first tights.
Come on, Kev. You should know about this.
So like this is like the last one we'll go through.
Wait,
Oh,
you didn't
yeah,
get
yeah,
Tyler,
Tyler's
man.
got-
Oh, I didn't get you. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
one
Okay, so the next one is Ugly Drinks.
Bluff.
Well,
Man,
So
this
it's
is
a
a good
brand.
game.
It's basically beverages that it's sparkling water with like no sugar or sweeteners. All right, so the next we'll go one more time around.
Okay.
The next one is Rent a Grandma.
Rent a grandma? It better be a company. Real.
No, it's a
No.
blonde.
Wow.
Sometimes you just want to rent one. You're,
You see how
love the-
excited
you
Jason
love
got?
Um,
the grandma, touch, of course.
Yeah.
So I
He
didn't say
liked
real.
that one.
the
Rent the dog, of course. Right. Sometimes you just want a dog at your office or something for like an hour or two.
that exists.
Grandma less though, of course.
the next one is Rent the Chicken.
Rent the
Rent
chicken.
the chicken. That's a brand.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, Jody's on the board.
Okay,
Look
fine.
out.
I'm hot.
You could take could
Okay,
take
what
over
is-
the win.
What is it, Jody?
Yeah, go. You could win this whole episode right here.
If you can't do a Thanksgiving turkey, you rent a chicken, I guess.
No, no. So, we'll go with the buzzer. You have a chance to steal his. You steal.
Oh,
his-
we haven't had a steal. Steal. Anyone know?
Well, I mean, I'll guess. Ah, man, rent a chicken. I guess
I'm
you,
excited to see where
okay.
you go with this.
Let me just try basic stuff. Look, does they rent chickens?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. Oh, steal.
You could rent them for like backyard like farming.
Oh
basically,
yeah. No, I'd keep a few
All right.
rented in my backyard.
The next one
I'm just
is
gonna order them to your house. Knock something to really good. Got 10 chickens.
the next one.
Remember this episode.
The next one is Ship Snow Yo.
Ship snow, yo.
It's on you, Kevin, isn't it?
Fake.
No, it's real.
Oh
They
man.
they literally ship real snow packed in coolers too.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounded reasonable, but the yo at the end.
Well, your house is going to
They
have
must
some
have needed
snow and some
the
chickens.
domain name.
And then last one is we'll go bougie wipes.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm 0 for 2 now, so I'm just gonna go real.
Correct.
I was going to
On
go
the
real too
board.
on that. That
Let's do
sounds
it.
like it's a real thing because people love bougie.
So bougie wipes, they are non-scented wipes. Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
you
And, like,
got it.
Yeah, don't
Um,
go any more specific. It's only gonna hurt your odds.
Yeah. Give me like if you could like a special feature, like something cool about their brand.
They're bougie. they come in a really
The
cool
brand
box.
looks really cool. and
No.
bougie.
No.
They're pink.
No.
Okay.
Right. So that's it. I guess that's the game.
What
Okay,
is-
wait a
thank you,
minute.
Dan.
So
So
what
is
are
bougie?
the
What is
scores?
What is
Basically,
cool?
Jason
cool about
won.
so basically what they have is it's focused on wipes for kids' noses. They have it's saline infused.
Oh, didn't think
so
that would be
I
the
don't know.
bougie side of things.
All right,
who's the
yeah,
winner?
Jason won.
Jason won.
Yeah, because I got that first question. I nailed it. Look
Good
at that.
I know, but I got the
Sorry,
steal.
I'm up.
All right,
Okay, I guess I could be good.
Tyler. Thanks for
I could be a
joining
good
us for the
referral
show.
partner with you in the future. I know a lot about the types of businesses you're looking for, I guess.
Good.
Okay, this part of the segment, Jody, it's all about learning about your backstory, learning about your business. So we're going back to that 60-second pitch again. So what exactly do you do? Right? Explain it more in detail.
I'm in 2 businesses. I've been in the real estate business and private equity. So I've been involved with 3 major companies. One was a public REIT. We had 10,000 apartments sold out to Sam Zell, one of the largest landlords in the country, who's since passed away. And we did a roll up. So we had a bunch of.
I'm going to take a pause real quick.
Sure.
You're using a lot of buzzwords here. Roll up, REIT.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of students listening here in person or our audience online don't know the buzzword. So let's simplify it. What is a REIT? And then also kind of define like roll up and what you mean by that.
So we had a bunch of private holding apartment complexes throughout the Northeast,
Okay.
and we combined them, which is a roll up, into a public entity, and we traded on the stock exchange, the American Stock Exchange, and we were liquid. So we went and took a illiquid piece of real estate, and people, shareholders, can sell it like they would sell a share of IBM stock.
So simply put, students in the audience could go on their mobile app, apps like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, as an example, or Robinhood. A lot of the younger generation uses, and literally buy this, and they could own it, and the value could rise because this is real estate, and people are renting apartments, and of course, that turns into opportunity for them
Or
because the
they
money
could
goes up.
go down in value, just
Of
like
course.
any other stock.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I did that. We sold out in 2002, and I decided to look on the private equity side of the world. And I bought a pharmaceutical company in 1999. I paid $18 million for it and sold it in 2021 for, in effect, $358 million. So that's why Kevin has me on the show today. So, I worked hard doing it, and in the interim in 2000, I did this while I was in New York. In 2012, I decided to be the next Warren Buffett, if you've heard of Warren Buffett, and decided to buy an insurance company. And I found one in Jacksonville, Florida, and I bought that for $150 million, which was a homeowners national 50 state. We wrote homeowners insurance in 50 states. And then in 14, I bought a company in the garbage landfill sector. So if Waste Management takes their garbage to the landfill, we would insure against fire or explosion. But how I got those companies, hard work, heart, and desire. It's not all just textbooks. I didn't have a professor like Kevin, so the odds were against me.
And when you said you purchased, like you personally exited and then took your own capital to purchase, or you raised capital to
I
purchase?
did my money and some outside investors.
Gotcha.
And one of them was a an owner of NFL franchise. But how I got that company, I actually called 800 CEOs in the country, 800, top level guys. And I spent 6 months calling them a second time until they got tired of me, and then they sold the company. But I did go to one of my friends and say to him, "Hey, Charles, what do you think about me buying an insurance company?" And he said, "Look, the good news and the bad news, what do you want to hear first?" I said, "Tell me the bad news." The bad news, he said, was it's all owned by private equity, public companies. You're going to have to show them the money, and it's going to be really hard. So I said, "If that's the bad news, should I just fold my cards?" And he said, "No." I said, "The good news is if anyone can do it, it's you." So not only did I prove him wrong, I bought two companies, not one. And, I was pretty diligent about it. I set up a ping pong table on the ping pong table in my basement. It was like a war room. And I just called for 6 months. After 6 months, I had nothing to show for it. I was really pissed off. And then finally it clicked, and I bought my first company. And
What type of insurance?
it was a homeowners 50 state. We didn't write hurricane insurance in Florida.
So can you explain what happens after you buy it, right? Do you come in as CEO? Do you operate it? Do you hire a CEO? Kind of explain.
Well, I didn't hire a CEO because we had an experienced CEO
Yeah.
that's made the mistakes 2 or 3 times. Instead of someone like me coming in, I didn't really know the business, but I knew the potential of making money. I'm pretty good at sniffing out value. I don't want to run companies. I don't want to have to manage people. I don't want to have to say good morning. I don't want to have to say, how was your weekend? I just want to make money and move on to the next company.
Okay.
All right. So those sound like some fantastic deals and opportunities. What about a deal that went sideways or something that got away from you? Didn't you say you had a couple of those over the years?
I've never lost money ever. Where I've really lost money is an opportunity cost. So I let a few good deals go by that I should have invested in, but I didn't. But the only one that I came close, I bought a hotel in Park City, Utah, and I ended up making a 10% IRR. So over 5 years, I made 10% per year, but that was not looking very good until the Mormon church came in and they had to buy it. They wanted it, and they paid more money than they should have. So
I want to hear the ones you passed on. So
yeah,
tell us one
of,
that we might have heard about that you passed on.
Well, right after 9/11,
Okay.
some real estate deals. Well, actually, right before 9/11, and there were a couple that had an opportunity to invest in, and after 9/11, and I was too nervous about it, and interest rates came down, values went up, and I passed on them. So I left probably $50 million on the table, but I made it back in good deals. So worked out okay.
Nice.
Okay. And tell us where you're doing most of your operations these days. You live in Florida, you live in New York, you travel around, kind of give us some of the back end.
I live in Florida.
Okay.
I live in Ponte Vedra Beach, which is near Jacksonville.
Okay.
I moved here in 2015. I bought the insurance company, one in Jacksonville in 12, and I thought I'd come here to watch the money. There were 150 million reasons to watch the money. And then I bought another one in Ohio. I wasn't moving to Ohio. I want to say hi to my wife because she puts up with all my travel. It's about Sharon. It's been about 50% travel, but that's the way I go out, find deals, meet people. I go to a lot of wealth conferences. I have one ticket available. I'll leave it up to Kevin. December 9th is a family wealth conference in Fort Lauderdale at the Westin. So whoever is the straight A student will make me look good. Kevin can choose who that one student might be.
Interesting.
We'll make them do the game show next week.
Yeah, I got some. I got some ideas
on
about
air.
how we can
Make
identify.
Make them earn it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you got a group of ambitious business and entrepreneurship students in here today. What kind of advice do you have for them that you've picked up along your career?
It's been a great life. I have the opportunity to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And I wouldn't trade it in for anything. I don't have a boss. Haven't had a boss in a long time. The negative is I haven't gotten a paycheck in a long time. I don't really need it. It's all ordinary income anyway. But I think that, the best piece of advice I can give you is, you really got to put in the time, effort, and energy, and, make sure you surround yourself with spheres of influence, influential people, and don't be scared of anybody. Don't be scared to ask a stupid question, because that's how you learn. And it's all about work ethic. I mean, I've had hundreds of days where I've waken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, hit the road, and I always make sure that I'm early to my meetings. I'm there an hour early just in case there's traffic. So, it's not, you got to think differently. You have to come up with a niche. You can't do what everybody else is doing. When people are buying, you should be selling. When they're selling, you should be buying. And, spheres of influence, that's what I did. When I started out, I go to meetings and I was always scared to ask the questions because I thought they were stupid questions. And I was hoping CEOs wouldn't call on me and ask me questions. And now I go into meetings and it's hard to shut me up because, the more you ask, the more you learn.
And what's the worst piece of advice you ever received?
I get advice every day from people to invest. It's like, it's like an ant colony. They're all over me, and it's all the same. It's commodities. It's, private credit. It's, nothing wrong with venture capital, but, you hear the same stories, and people's deals valuations are, crazy. So, I think you really need to get to know people before you take a job, before you invest with them, and don't trust anybody until you get to know them. That's what I would say.
And how many brands are you currently an owner of right now?
I sold everything. I own a bunch of real estate, commercial real estate, but I sold my my companies. 2021, I sold my pharma company, which was the height of the market. We sold for 250 million. It's probably down to about 200 million right now. So that was lucky timing. But yeah, it's really hard.
So what's the future then? Like, would you see yourself buying another brand, or you see giving back? And maybe we see it all the time here, like someone becoming an adjunct professor, right? They want to teach the next generation, or they run, with Kevin, some of his boot camps, the local ecosystem. They start a podcast and they start interviewing other entrepreneurs that are in their Rolodex. Like, what is the?
I'm not as funny as Kevin, so I couldn't be a professor, so that won't work. I really want to buy more companies because I learn. We made tablets and capsules in the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, you see things you just never knew they existed. So it's a great learning experience for me to do different things. So I'm wide open in what I will invest in.
So you mentioned those valuations, which, I mean, some of them have really gotten insane. We look at some of these AI companies that are worth 5, 10, 20 billion dollars, have next to no revenue, are operating at a substantial loss. What sectors are you most interested, or do you view as most promising right now as you look at the finance, economic, and social landscape, either of the United States or even globally? What sectors do you think might be a good opportunity where there's some value that may not be fully realized, right?
Well, I like, speaking of venture, the one thing I like robotics. I think, robotics and healthcare has a lot of potential. It's a long-term hold. I think that's, one area that could be, very interesting. And just, aging population, I think people really don't have a way to exit. So if I can find these companies, and, it could be anything. It could be Warren Buffett bought Pilot Oil, and Pilot happened to be one of my big investors, but you don't have a succession plan, and there's just tremendous opportunity if you can find these companies. So any cash flowing company that's been around for at least 5 years can create a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's one of our major efforts this year through the Center for Entrepreneurship that I run and oversee, is developing a comprehensive, high-end, and effective program to teach people how to buy businesses. Now, not quite the size and scale of businesses that Jody's into buying, but what we're looking at and we're going to develop and launch late in the spring, early summer is an entrepreneurship through acquisition training workshop seminar for probably more for our MBA graduates, right? People that are alumni of the MBA program, but maybe even some undergrads or some recent graduates as well. And these are more like those businesses that are owner operator, right? So they don't spend off that much cash, especially if you have to hire someone. But if you sit in there and you are the owner, you could potentially make substantially more than you would in your corporate job. And Jody makes a great point. He's obviously familiar with the data that I am too. The silver tsunami is coming, and you probably haven't heard of that, but maybe your parents have, especially if they own a business. And it is all these small and medium, but mostly small businesses that make up our main streets, our cities, our towns. A lot of the businesses you go to, a large proportion of them are still owned by baby boomers, and it just can't last forever. And then Jody's final point, they have to retire. So that is the silver tsunami. It's that all these people are going to be retiring, and somebody with an MBA from FAU who has a corporate job, maybe they're around the corner at ADT or Office Depot, and they're doing fine. They've been doing fine for quite a while. They have some resources and some assets, but they'd really like to, instead of making 120, 130, make 200, 250, 300. Entrepreneurship through acquisition is a mechanism for doing that. And the skill set they already possess are many of the characteristics you'd need to be a good owner, but you may not know how to do it. How do I search? How do I get financing? How do I structure the deal? How do I do due diligence? And that's what our program is going to be designed to teach. I think it's a great opportunity out there. And as Jody said, these people need to retire, and it's not, the businesses typically aren't going to the next generation.
And we don't want to see companies like Rent a Chicken go under, right?
Oh,
we heard
no,
earlier,
God
that's
forbid.
a real brand out there, and it's being ran by a baby boomer, and they need to exit. Someone in this room needs to buy that brand. Right? We need that brand, to continue, so that way I can send chickens to Kevin's house one day. Okay, so this segment of the show is sponsored by OWL, where you get to ask an entrepreneur a question. So students, come on up, ask Jody a question on your mind, and fire away. Go for it.
Hi, so I'm Ryan, and my kind of question was going back to the AI bubble that you guys were talking about for a second. So can you guys speak to how that would be possibly related to like the Google bubble, right? Internet as a whole, how they're related, and how you guys see like the relation between like valuations and revenue and where that could be going?
Great question.
It makes me nervous. I sat with the guy 2 weeks ago, and he was one of the lower valuations. I didn't really even understand what he was doing, and he was looking for $10 million, and he wanted a $100 million valuation. So it just makes me very nervous. It reminds me of 2008. It reminds me of the tech situation in the late 90s. I just don't see how it's going to continue to go on. The music's going to stop, and somebody is going to be missing a chair one day. And I just don't know when that's going to be, but I haven't heard those.
I mean, the current situation is that the market, right? People look at the S&P 500, but the market's really being driven by 10 stocks. And those 10 stocks are pretty much all tech stocks, right? And they're all betting a lot of assets on AI, right? And we haven't exactly seen the value get created yet yet. Now, maybe it could. There have been independent individual companies that have had a really long runway. Amazon didn't make money for a long time, right? Uber didn't make money for quite a while, but we've never seen it on this scale before, which is kind of what's unique. And then what I think you're hearing a lot about it now, and what's potentially, if it doesn't work out, compounding the situation are these circular deals that you may have seen about, right? So NVIDIA invests $100 million in AI XYZ because that company's committed to spending $100 million on chips, like from NVIDIA. So like, where is that? Is that really creating more value? But when those deals announcements get made, it does create value in terms of the stock. But at some point, somewhere down the line, like, it actually has to generate the revenue, create the value, and become a sustainable business. That part's still a little bit opaque. I mean, I'm very bullish on AI. I talked about 2 weeks ago, AI for entrepreneurs. I hosted the AI Collective. I use AI every day. But my account, my ChatGPT account, OpenAI, they lose money on me. I use it a lot more than $20 a month in terms of processing power. So, you know, maybe one day those rates will go up. They've done a lot of things to try to reduce what it's costing them.
They got
to
your
provide the
data,
service.
Kevin. They know everything about you.
Even better.
You're gonna
Even
get
better.
those chicken ads tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of data. I mean, they're gonna put ChatGPT supposedly like in your iPhone, right? And it's gonna know a lot more about you and your buying patterns because of that. But if I was someone in the audience right now thinking about a business, is no matter what business you are operating, layer on AI technologies to serve your business better. I still think most businesses know about it and just use ChatGPT, but very few are then going outside of that arena, right? How are you doing your social media posts, right? How can you reach your audience easier through text message automation, through email automation, and really execute? Because so often people talk about these things. There's very few people that actually take the time, learn them, and execute. So I'm a bigger believer in that. There's so many AI technologies out there. I get a gazillion emails out, from running a financial service firm, from running the Owl app. My inbox every day has 100 to 200 random solicitation emails. And that also doesn't count Instagram, all the inboxes that we have there, and LinkedIn. And you can't know all these technologies. There's too many that exist. When we were playing the game show earlier, like, we don't know what brands are real and what are not. And it's hard. There's so many AI brands out there today. So you have to really know someone, like he was talking about, that really sits down and says, this is it. This is a great brand. Incorporate in your business. Because what you don't want to do is try everything. I see too many businesses try this technology, that technology, and then they don't increase their revenues. They're just jumping because they're trying to be lazy. They're trying to cut corners. And I think you really just have to try to leverage the good technologies out there. That'd be my recommendation.
Yeah, I think that's the great answer there. And kind of going back to what Kevin was saying with NVIDIA and OpenAI, right? It's like if you give your friend $10, he gives you $10. Nobody made any money, right? And there's a lot of news around that. So thank you, guys.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm currently studying to get my Florida State Community Association manager's license. And I intend to buy a property management company, preferably from somebody that wants to retire. And I'm just wondering what your advice is for going into that sort of venture and tying into like the AI technology and how that can apply to such a thing.
Well, property management is a sticky business, relatively, as opposed to buying a dental practice, which you don't know if people are going to leave. So I kind of like that business, but the valuations, you got to make sure you're getting it at a good valuation and diversified portfolio, not just one asset. But yeah, I like that business a lot. Let me know if you find one at a good price. I'm in.
See that?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and then the other obvious thing to do is right away get enrolled in that entrepreneurship through acquisition program right here at Florida Atlantic University, and we will tell you everything you need to do.
Thank you.
How cool would that be if he really does find that business, takes that course, and then all of a sudden finds that one in your wheelhouse?
Oh, it's
And he's
very
the operator of it. And
so. I built.
obviously you help funding it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I built this idea. I made an assignment for my MBA students.
Yeah.
And one of them doing the assignment, I tell him, you have this budget, you have XYZ, blah, 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 blah. He had to find an acquisition target, right? He worked at one of the huge pest control companies that everybody would know the name of. I won't name it. But in our region, and he found a small pest control company, and he had a background in that science. He was on the science side, not the service side. And it was on the west coast of Florida, where he was originally from. And he started doing all the research, and he couldn't quite afford it. But I encouraged him, sign an LOI, reach out to the owner. The owner and this kid had the same graduate degree from the same university in bugs or whatever. I don't know the actual name. It's one of those sciences. And the owner really connected with the kid, and it's about 6 weeks later, they had a few meetings. The owner offered owner financing. He quit his job and bought the company.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
It's a great business.
Yeah,
Really
and
is a great business.
a year later in the summer, he said, he made about $80,000 more than he had made the year before. He owned the business, and he was going to continue to grow and scale it. And said, it was based on that assignment. So yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, it speaks to the power of relationships.
Did you get a commission on that?
No, I'm not a licensed broker, but maybe that should be on my
Venture
roadmap too.
Okay, it looks like we got two more questions. Or one more question.
Hi, I'm Tess. I'm actually the instructor for this course. I got really excited when you talked about your 6-month grind of calling 800 CEOs. That's kind of a key part of the process when we teach entrepreneurship, is calling prospective customers, potential partners, people already in the space you're interested in. I was curious if there was any sort of learning curve over those 6 months, or what some of the lessons were from that really focused networking grind.
The learning curve is, it's pay a mortgage or keep, if you can't pay your mortgage, you keep calling. So I did that. But yeah, you learn if you talk to CEOs of companies, most of them are pretty smart. And I knew nothing about insurance, zero. And I learned a lot, enough to be dangerous. And they thought I was knowledgeable. But again, it's about showing the money. That's what they care about. And you could close the deal. That's what it's all about. And, I started out, a lot of smoke and mirrors. I didn't have the money when I started out, but I talked a good game. Now I have the money, and it's getting harder because the internet and the competition, there's not so much information out there today that, anybody could find it. What I do, I would say it's a secret. If you get an A in his course, I'll tell you, but I'm probably the only one who does the research that I do. And my wife and my son are probably the only two that know the kind of research that I do, but it's grueling and it's hard, but if you want to get ahead, that's what you got to do. But I did call 800 people, probably at least 3 times each. So that's 2,400 phone calls.
What about general advice for kind of exactly that scenario? A lot of these students are working in teams on a venture that they may not know much about.
Yep.
Some advice for when you're calling an expert, how do you kind of get them to open up and be willing to discuss, their expertise when it really is kind of a one-way exchange?
I like that question a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, various filings, public and private. I take industries that I can understand, and I called this guy yesterday, and he was like one of the top people at Ares Capital Management, which was equivalent to like a Goldman Sachs. I had no idea, and I called him. And, he sounded much older. He sounded He sounded a little sophisticated. And then I got off of the phone with him, and he said, I'll have one of, my people call you back, which he did. And the guy that called me back, I had met in California 3 weeks prior. I didn't even remember the guy because I only really go for the CEO level guys. So I Googled him and I said, oh my God, this guy's huge in Miami Beach. And I just want to read you the text that I sent him. They're no better than you are, no better than me. And that's the way, that I treat him. So I wrote, hi, Arthur. He sent me a text that he wanted to get together with me and his one of his partners. We spoke this afternoon. It appears you might be the real deal, which I don't think he's the real deal, but I got to make him, feel good about himself. I would like to meet you. I have some wealth and a lot of buddies with wealth. So right away, he knows I have money. He's going to want to meet me because there's no product better in this world than money. And I have a lot of buddies with wealth. I made my money in pharmaceuticals, insurance, and real estate. I spoke with Juan, that's his employer. We are meeting 5 p.m. in Miami Beach on November 19th. It would be great if you could join us. I can guarantee he'll be there, guaranteed. So that's what I do. There's nobody, I think I'm as smart as anybody other than Kevin. There hasn't been anybody that's made me nervous out there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank
Sure.
you.
All right. We'll see you on the show next week as co-host.
Yes.
An exciting week. It's going to be fantastic. So much better than having me. Go
And
ahead.
I'll piggyback that answer for a moment. Running a mobile app, running a financial service firm, I'm around a lot of influential people all the time. And the truth is just be yourself and be genuine. I think too often people try to solicit themselves, pitch something. But if you just ask for advice naturally, say, hey, I'm just looking for help, often people will give it because they see you're genuine. When people come across Jody and say, hey, I need help, but I want money, I want something, then he's immediately going to go, oh, another person wants money, another person
Run for
who
the hills.
really isn't genuinely asking for advice or guidance. And that's what I see through my mobile app. We run a mobile app with 10,000 plus people on it. And the people who are successful aren't there nagging people, pitching people. It's just genuinely having a conversation, see where it goes. And like Kevin referenced, like he had somebody literally buy a business off a relationship. And that's the power of just being genuine. And not trying to fake success. Just tell someone, hey, this is my position. And, people want to help people all the time. I mean, it's just human nature, of course.
Ori, my name is Franco Gingaspero, and I just wanted to know, I must say where you are right now, it's really impressive what you do. And I'm sure you have a ton of experience in multiple industries that you're tapped into. But I just wanted to know if you could give yourself, your 20-year-old self, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Just be relentless, work hard, put your heart into it, and, just find something that you enjoy doing. And that's just really important. And find a niche. You just want to be different. You can't, people are in private credit. Everybody and their grandfather is in private credit right now. Run for the hills. Just how are you you got to sell a product. How are you going to compete against 20 other guys? I mean, I've been successful because, my REIT, we did something different than the rest of the world. My pharmaceutical company, I never even heard of, making tablets and capsules from a liquid. I mean, you have to be a scientist to figure that out, but I never came across a company like that. Insurance, it's what Warren Buffett does. It's got to be a good business if Warren Buffett's doing it. So I'm a copycat, and I'm finding other companies, but they got to be few and far between. I bid on an NFL franchise, the Carolina Panthers. There's only 32 of those. So I buy an airline. There's not many of those. So I just want to be different. I'm not going to compete against, there's a lot of smarter guys, a lot of richer guys. I think you just have to surround yourself with the best people and be fair, take less money if you're buying a business. And it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. My wife went to the post office today and mailed out my tax returns to the government. And I haven't bought a company. I bought some real estate. I'm closing on a deal right now, but I haven't bought a private equity situation in a good 2 years, and I'm sitting in bonds, and I'm I'm making a lot of money, but I'm giving half of it back to the government. So try to find companies that you could, a bug company, you can figure out a way not to pay 42% in taxes. You can pay 20%, 24%. So it's a big advantage. It's how much you keep, and you got to have the drive, to want to do it. Nonstop drive,
Absolutely.
motor.
Yeah, and to get where you are, like in life right now, it for sure takes a lot of hard work, grit, determination, everything. But do you think learning those high level skills matters as much as personal connections you make with people, or which one do you think plays more?
It's both, but yeah, I mean, I bought my insurance company from Bill Foley, and Bill Foley ran a $20 billion public company. I didn't have a relationship with him at all. I mean, what I did was I called him. He had called me. He made the mistake. When I called him, he called me back from his cell phone. So I had a cell phone, and he said, this is back in May of 2011, and I had a cell phone. So I checked in with him every week, which he wasn't really happy about, but he got sick of me and he said, I got to get rid of this guy and I'll sell him the company. But, he made it clear that if I didn't close, he was going to take away my firstborn son. So I had no connection with him. But the pharmaceutical company, that was my big winner. I had a definite connection with the owner of the company. We were, pretty good friends. I got to know him pretty well. We'd have lunch all the time. So yeah, personal connection is probably 90% of the battle.
Okay.
And you got to go see people. It's not
Follow-ups.
Zoom.
Yeah.
It's
I
physical
was going to say,
contact.
define that a tad further, because also, like, when people say relationships, it's like deep relationships. He's texting and
Right.
texting, he's emailing. And as they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? He could have annoyed this person so much where maybe it wasn't the best relationship, but at the end of the day, the guy started to realize, okay, if he's willing to text me this many times, he is going to get this deal closed, right? So often we hear that quote, the squeaky wheel gets grease, for that reason. Or you see people who are great salespeople, eventually they're on the top of the leaderboards. It's that they're so persistent, they're so consistent, and relationships are so valuable when you keep up with them. Today, we're living in a world where someone has 1 million followers on Instagram, but has no real friends and has no real authority to people if they really want to do things often in life, right? Because these are fake followers, or they might be real, but they're not real in the sense where he could look down at his phone and text people tomorrow and they'll show up for him. So I think what he's really saying in a nutshell is deep relationships matter, not just relationships.
I used to call people at 4:00 in the morning, and people would get in their office. They put on their answering machine, and it would say Jody Chapnick, 4:03 a.m. And they would say, "This guy is sick. He is mentally sick. I'm going to call him back." That's the truth.
And Jody called me actually like a few times for the show. I'm like, who's calling me right now? And he didn't wait for, our producer Stephanie to email him back. He's like, what's the deal of this show? What date? What's this? So he is a man of his words. Like, he called me a few times. I was on vacation and I was like, hey, might have been a holiday. It was like July 4th weekend or something. I don't remember.
It was a Saturday night at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah. But then, what's interesting? Jody called me. I'm like, it's cool. We can talk, because that's who I am too. I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV with my family, but I'm like, I can take a call for 5 minutes.
Right.
So that's what you're finding out, is that you could call CEOs and they're like everybody else. They're sitting on their couch chilling.
Connect with you.
And then sometimes they're like, this guy's willing to call me at 11 o'clock on a Saturday. I guess I'll chat with him. Right. But it forms a deeper relationship.
Right.
And that's why they say even with restaurants, when they make mistakes, it actually helps them, because then somebody gets to step in and make it right. And then people always remember that situation, that they made it right, versus the person that just ignores the mistake, of course, and just tries to hide from it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I told you this was going to be a great episode, and
Sure
it
was.
was, but it ended 1 minute ago. So
It did in 1 minute.
wrap it up, buddy.
So Jody, thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us on the show.
Thank
Everybody
you.
listening, all this information will be up on our
Yeah.
website. You call them right on the Owl app. We will be back next week at 1 o'clock, joined by a featured co-host.